Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the elements of a song. So I've got a little loop here. You may be familiar with the 16 bar loop. We've got some stuff going on, some operators, some SH101. We've got some chopped up melody pieces, shaker, perk, kick and a bass line. So I'm basically going to go over the elements of a track and kind of where things need to sit and the order in which you need to do things. So I have a hierarchy which I've covered in previous sessions. So I like to start with my kick, and then I'll kind of fill out my drum groove. I start with a kick because it's the most important element of a track, and then I'll add my clap, shaker, hi-hats, rhythm, and then I'll go into bass lines, and then effects, and then vocals. And I go in that order because I like to fill out the frequency spectrum in that range. So the kick will sit in the low end, and I'll cut the low end out of the hi-hats, claps, and snares and stuff, so I can leave space for the kick and the bass to sit in the low end, and then that way you get like a nice full frequency spectrum. So for a nice kick, we're looking at three things. So we've got the click, the body, and the tail. So the click is the initial clicking woody sound, and then you've got the body, which is the kind of bass aspect, and then you've got the tail, which is the release of the kick. So we're looking at those three things. I'm going to include a pamphlet, an ebook, which covers how to make a good kick. I'll include that in the resources for this video, and I'll include another one as well, just so you know some additional information on how to make a nice kick if that hasn't answered anything. Obviously it has. And a shaker is something that you can add to fill out your groove. So we're just going to listen to what we've got here. It's just going to start with the kick drum. So we've just got like a nice kick and some kind of glitchy modular percussion and a shaker. And then we've got kind of this chopped up Rhodes samples. Just to splash some colour on and some call and response stuff going on, which is like, you get one sound and then the response is the answer to the call, and you just kind of get them two to bounce off each other, and you've got obviously a bass line at the end. And then you've just got this full sounding track. Also, if you want to solo one or more tracks, I've got a command here, or you can use Alt and click, and then you can click more than one and solo more than one track at once, and you kind of get this full sound. You follow the hierarchy. I like to build the drop first, and it's the 16 bars here, and then we can kind of build out and flesh out the FX vocals, maybe add some more percussion, layer some kicks, layer some bass lines, maybe add like a Serum patch, a drone, maybe some vinyl crackle, and that's kind of the hierarchy. So just to recap, we've got the kick, then the clap, then the hi-hats, then the percussion, then the bass line, then the vocal, then the effects, and the effects are kind of the finishing touches, the ear candy for people to listen, and it kind of gives that replayability value. So if you're on Spotify, more chance of your tracks going viral and people listening to your tracks. Make sure you give me a follow on Spotify. Got a lot of my bangers on there. People have been liking that a lot recently. There's a few going viral at the moment, so you can go check out Omar Mayhem on Spotify. They're not going too viral. They were last year, but we'll be working on that in 2021. So thank you guys for tuning into this video, elements of a song. I hope I cleared up some things for you. Make sure your kick and bass are sitting in the low end. You can use span or a frequency analysis plugin, and you can kind of see we kind of want the bass line to be in the left side, which is the low end, with the kick, and then we kind of want our hi-hats and percussion and stuff over here, snare, maybe something like that with a bit of body, and then you're going to get kind of a full sounding mix. You keep your kick and the bass in the low end to avoid any muddy frequencies clashing with each other. That's why I cut the hi-hats and the claps, and that way you don't have too much competing in the low end. And obviously sidechain your bass to the kick, so we're just going to get a compressor, chuck that on the kick, and then we're just going to open the sidechain window, sidechain to our kick, and it gives that kind of like floating feel. And you can kind of tweak and play around with that. and you kind of get this full sounding mix. Sounds quite nice. And you can also sidechain these Rode sounds to the kick if you wanted as well, just to create more space. And you can tweak the dry wet, of course. Yeah, sounds pretty dope. Alright guys, I'll include those ebooks in the resources, and they're going to give you a bit more detail, but I think I've covered the basics of everything, the essential parts. You know, you want your kick, clap, drum groove, kick, clap, hats, you know, percussion, and then that way you've got like a nice drum groove. Your drums are going to be guiding people through the mix, guiding people through the track. And then you're going to have your bass lines, then you're going to have your, maybe, you know, you can add synths after that, and you kind of, once you've got your bass line and drum groove, people should be dancing, you should be tapping your feet, and then obviously your synths. If you're not doing that, something's going wrong. And then vocals at the end, you know, EQ the low end out of the vocal, make it sound, maybe give it a boost in the high end, give it like an airy kind of vibrant feel. Sounds quite nice. And then effects at the end with some EQ and processing, maybe reverb, echo, delay, EQ. Maybe sidechain that to the kick as well, and you're going to get that depth in the mix. You know, adjust the volume and add effects at the end to give kind of ear candy for the listener. So those are the elements of a track, broken down nicely. We cover panning in the course as well. You know, you're kind of going to want to pan the hi-hats and stuff. You can maybe have a hi-hat to the left, hi-hat to the right, hi-hat in the middle. Adjust the volumes and kind of get like a nice mix. Maybe sidechain something with the kick. And remember, span is your friend. So you can kind of see the frequencies of things. You know, see how this percussion's sitting exactly where I want it to. You know, and we can obviously look at the kick and it'll be sitting. You know, we see we've got the kick on the left. That's exactly where we want it. We want frequencies over here. The kick's meant to be a nice subby bass feature. And yeah, obviously a sub bass and bass will sit here as well. So just have another look at the bass with span. You can see how the bass is compressed quite nicely on the left. So if you see things like this, you know, little rogue frequencies, we can just go into our EQ and chop them up. So we can maybe adjust our EQ type. I'll include this EQ variant as well in the resources of this video. It's really powerful. You can chuck it on anything, make it sound good. If it doesn't make it sound better, it just doesn't need EQing. So it's the perfect EQ variant. It's a bit different to this. It's like shaped over here, but yeah, you'll see it, and I'll include all those resources for you guys. I look forward to hearing the music that you're making. And check out my other courses if you want more information on other topics. And you're welcome to strike up a discussion. If there's anything else you think I've missed and you want me to add, please let me know, and I will include it in the course for you guys. Hope you're having a great day. Much love. Peace.